Here we go. All right, we're recording. It is April 23rd, and welcome to our team call. And I am super excited about our guests tonight. I'm going to start off with a couple announcements and then move right into the training. And number one, I want to make sure that you are all super fired up about free shipping so that we can finish this Race to Director week strong. So we want to be enrolling people on value packs, getting free enrollment, free shipping this week, and getting as many people to Director as possible. I know on my coaching calls today, I've got people that are feeling like it's so far away, they're wanting to give up. And so I am encouraging people, don't give up. Do not give up. I've seen people rank advance in a day with one successful launch party. So don't give up. So really work with your team. Anyone that you have striving for Director, really work with them, link arms. If you need to talk with them every single day this week and you need to do 3 ways with them, whatever it takes, you want to take advantage of this because, you know, I shared this story on my coaching calls and I hope she gets on tonight to hear this. I'm sure she'll watch the recording if she's not on live, but there was a power post last night that my son's girlfriend, Zoe, posted, and she hit Director while we were on our cruise with Isagenix last week, and she earned $1,900, the exact amount she needed to pay off on her last student loan payment for her nursing school. And she had been doubling and tripling her payments since she started building the business with Isagenix, and she's 23 years old, and she is completely debt-free. So that is the kind of story that I love to hear, that gets me so fired up, and that's why we don't want to leave this money on the table. So take advantage of it. You guys take advantage of it, and certainly work with your team members and get everybody to really work to not leave that money on the table. So those are the quick announcements. I want to be sure everybody's on the same page. We are getting ready to start belly blasting. So the official bundle will come out tomorrow when everyone's back office. We're going to revive our last bedtime belly buster group and start re-inviting people to that. So the next couple days are going to be super exciting, and that will only help the cause of enrolling and creating consultants this week because we have something additional that we can give them with this bedtime belly buster. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring on my friend Zach Slobin tonight, and I feel like we have been building the business together. We've been kind of at the same pace together. We've been backstage together, growing together. I watch him and Eden on social media. I love, love, love the way that they market themselves, brand themselves, and he has been a main stage trainer on social media many, many times, but he's trained on a lot of other things too. And what I love so much, they are both masterful trainers, and really I want to have Eden on here too. The reason I didn't ask you together is because I'd like to have her separate too. I love what she's been doing. I'm talking about self-care and all the other things that she's so gifted at, and I know you guys both have different gifting and uniqueness, so I definitely want to see if she'll be a guest for us as well. And I'll certainly repay the favor anytime, Zach. But what I love so much about Zach is when he speaks on stage, I am on the end of my seat. I'm not on a cell phone. If I'm on a cell phone, it's to take notes. It's not to be, multitasking. I am all ears. I want to hear what this man has to teach me. And he's younger than me, and he has more experience than me, and I listen to everything. He has me on the edge of his seats, and he is one of the best presenters. I always love when I see his name on the agenda at any event. I get super excited. So I am so thrilled and honored that you took some time out tonight to be with us, Zach. So thank you. And he has been with Isagenix since 2013, guys. And Zach, how I'd like you to start is maybe just share, because we do have some brand new people that probably have not heard you speak on stage. So would you share a little bit about how Isagenix found you and your story to get things started?
Sure. And first and foremost, thank you so much for inviting me to join this conversation tonight, Cindy. And you're such an incredible leader. And I love your heart. It's so clear how much you care about people and you care about this business. And I can even see involuntarily the people on this call, their faces light up just when they hear me use those words to describe you. Because if Cindy's made an impact on your life just from her leadership, just go like this. This is the Zoom virtual clap, right? It's like jazz hands. So thank you for reaching out and for everything that you just shared about me. That's really kind of you. I'll send you a check, or I can PayPal you, whichever is best for you. That's very kind of you. But my isogenics journey really started because I was in the gym 6 days a week. I was eating paleo, I was eating organic, and nothing I was doing was getting me back into the peak physical condition that I had been accustomed to being in when I was a Division I level college athlete. And I was only willing to get on the products. I had a background in network marketing. I was retired from the industry. You couldn't pay me to join a company. I think I even did like a blood brothers handshake with my best friend at the time and said, we will never go back into network marketing for anything. And I said no to a lot of things. And I said yes to Isogenics because I knew about the company. I knew about the credibility of the products and the science behind them. And so I said yes to the products. And I got on the products, and after utilizing the products, I was able to burn 20 pounds of fat. I dropped 3 jean sizes, and I went from 15% to about 8.75% body fat. And so when Eden and I first started dating and she first saw me with my shirt off, let's just say she was mildly impressed with my physique. And she wanted to know what I used for my nutrition. And I didn't want to tell her. I didn't want her to know that Isogenics was a network marketing company. Anyway, fast forward, she was getting ready to travel to Vietnam. She was worried about having access to clean food. So I said, look, why don't you just take a box of shakes with you, so you can always have one good meal. So Eden goes to Vietnam. She's there for a couple of weeks, has tons of energy, feels like her clothes are fitting a little bit more loosely. Well, her boss at the time wouldn't give her the day off when she traveled home from Vietnam. So after a 30-hour travel day, her boss made her come into the office. How many of you have ever seen the movie Devil Wears Prada? Just go like this. I am convinced that Eden's former boss was the inspiration for Meryl Streep's character. Anyway, she walks in the office. Her boss looks at her, though, and says, Eden, how do you look so good after traveling all those hours? And she says, I don't know. I feel amazing. Zach has me on these shakes. So Eden sends me a chat message. She goes, hey, Kathy wants to try the shakes. How do I order them? Now, I'm sitting here going like, oh my God, like, what am I going to do? Like, I don't want to buy her boss a bunch of product, so I ignore her. Now, for those of you guys that have seen my wife, whether via social media or on stage, you know that Eden's a fireball. She is the type of woman where if she wants something, she's going to go get it. So she comes back to her condo that night. We had just been dating for about a month and a half at that time, puts her laptop down in front of me and goes, hey, I went to the Isogenics website. I can't figure out how to order this stuff. My boss wants to try some. I know a bunch of my girlfriends would love this stuff. Zach, what's the deal? And that's when the entrepreneur and the networker in me came out. And I was like, well, how many of your friends would love this stuff? And she goes, I know a ton of people. Why? And I said, look, Eden, I've been really reluctant to share this with you, but Isogenics is a network marketing company. And Cindy, I kid you guys not, Eden slams her hand on the table. I can't believe it. And tell me it's network marketing. I'm all about residual income. Who do I talk to next? So it's like on the one hand, the clouds part, the heavens are blaring, the trumpets are ablaze. Thank you, God has confirmed this woman is my soulmate. On the other hand, I am terrified at the possibility of getting into business with a woman who I had just been dating for a month and a half. I knew I was going to marry her. I knew how hard the industry was to really build inside of. I said, there's no way I'm getting into business with you. I'll support you. I'll answer any questions you have. You go do your thing. And so she did. She got on a full system. She dropped 2 dress sizes, 12 pounds, 25 inches. She made a couple of $1,000s in her first couple of months. And some things happened at her job where she really had her back up against the wall and had a decision to make about her career. And she came home to me one day and she says, look, dude, I Googled you. I know you're an expert at this. I've read your articles. I've seen some of your videos. I haven't spent the last 10 years of my life looking for the man I wanted to be married to just to be separated doing things for 15 hours a day that we hate. What about we have kids? I want us to be able to travel together. Come do this with me. And in that moment, I saw that Isogenics had done something I'd never seen from a company before, and that's that we spend so much money on the research and science and development of products that actually work, that we take a person with no experience whatsoever and we turn them into an absolute referral machine. And I thought I'd just be crazy not to partner with her. And that was 5.5 years ago. That was 2013, like we talked about. So, it's been amazing ever since. There's so much that's happened, obviously, kind of within the story and behind the story. And I'm happy to answer any questions about the story, but that's kind of how Isogenics found me and kind of what's happened thus far.
And it's just been beautiful to watch you guys build this business together. And that's a whole nother topic I want to talk about with the team, is couples doing this together. Because we do have some couples now that are doing it together. And we have a lot of people that are one person building with the hope of getting it to be successful enough that they can do it together as couples. So I absolutely love watching you guys build this together. And it's just been inspiring to me as I'm bringing my husband more and more into this as well. All right, so I did poll my leaders and ask them what do they want to learn from Zach tonight. So I've got a list of questions here. We'll see how many we can get through. But the first one is, what do you guys do intentionally to build leaders?
What do we do intentionally to build leaders? So the very first thing we do is we got clear 4 years ago on who our ideal partner is. We got really clear on the character traits of the types of person that we wanted to be in business with. What are their core values? So that's the very first thing we do, is we focused on who are the types of partners we want to attract. And then the next thing we recognized was that in order for us to attract these people, we must operate as we would want them to operate. So every day, our number one focus is on leading ourselves. That's the number one thing. Are we showing up in integrity in every area of our lives? Are we open and transparent in our communication? Are we hardworking? Are we leading from the front? Are we in alignment with the vision of the company and of Isagenix core values? That's the very first thing we focus on when it comes to building leaders, hands down, is our essence and how we show up every single day. Because at the end of the day, you can only hide for so long behind false leadership, is what I would say. You can only hide for so long behind false leadership. Eventually, your organization, people will suss you out. People will identify, wait a minute, there's something that's out of alignment here. And so that's really important for us, and that's really our focus. Now, the next thing we get clear on when somebody raises their hand, Cindy, is we get really clear on why are you doing this? You hear a lot of people talk about the why, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about kind of things that are somewhat materialistic in nature. Nothing wrong with it. So, for example, I heard that I think you said your boyfriend's girl, or your son's girlfriend just paid off her student loan debt. That is massive. That is monstrous, and that is also what I would call a superficial kind of level 1, tier 1 goal. It's an amazing goal. It's an important goal. But the reality is, why we do what we do as humans typically lies at a deeper emotional level. We do things for a deeper sense of whether it be significance or purpose or recognition or fulfillment, whatever it may be. So what we do with our leaders, or the people that raise their hands, is we find out what really is driving you. I mean, when we pull it all away, when we say, okay, you're making the 6 figures, you're traveling around the world, your debt's paid off, all those things, ultimately though, why is that so important to you? What's the feeling that you're after? What are we really targeting here? And so what that allows us to do is, when people start to kind of fall off track, if you will, or they're not getting on team calls, or they're hesitant about coming to an event, it really allows us to hold up a mirror to them and say, hey, remember when you shared with me that the reason why you were doing this was X, Y, Z? Were you serious about that, or were you just kidding around? So it allows us to be high accountability partners with our leaders. And I say that's one of our keys, for sure. The other thing that we do is we take a position of being just the GPS. And we set that agreement up very early on in our conversations with people, where basically we say, look, we're the GPS. You tell us where you want to go. We're the GPS. Isagenix is the vehicle. You tell us where you want to go. So just like a GPS in your car, we're going to say, okay, go straight, make a right, make a right. But if you make a left, when we say make a right, okay, fine. Just like a GPS, we're going to say recalculating, go straight, go left. But if you make a right, when we say go left, okay, recalculating. As your partners and as your GPS, we're always, from the day you tell us where you want to go, we're going to give you what we believe is the fastest, most convenient route to get to where you want to go. But again, we're the GPS, Isagenix is the vehicle, you're the driver. And so we empower people to recognize that from day one, whether they succeed or whether they quote unquote fail, is going to come down to how they decide to drive the car.
I love that analogy. That is amazing. I bet Susan Wheeler is going nuts. She's my analogy girl. That's awesome. Okay, so when you're talking to people in the beginning, your initial conversations, people will always ask me, do you lead with the products? Do you lead with the business? And I don't necessarily lead with either, but I always will share about the possibility to get their products paid for at the beginning. How do you guys do this? How do you talk to people? Are you recruiting specifically for the business, or how do you go about this?
So there's something that I learned from Tony Robbins a long time ago, and he says, let your prospect determine your presentation. I think all too often we get really caught up in, well, I'm only going to talk about the products, or I'm only going to talk about the business, or I believe based on what I know about this person that this is what they need from Isogenics. And I think we make a mistake as networkers oftentimes of believing that we're the experts in people's lives, when in reality, they're the experts. Our job is to ask questions and to ascertain which one of our solutions really makes the most sense for us to facilitate in that moment. And so what I would invite all of you to do is stop telling people what they need and start finding out what they want. So that's first and foremost. Kind of the mindset of connecting for me is let your prospect determine your presentation. Now, that being said, Eden and I do take what's called a top-down approach to building our business. And what that means is, for us, we lead with the opportunity and we default to the product. And here's why, just for us, and there's no right or wrong way, it's just our philosophy. The reason we like to go top down is because, Cindy, let's imagine for a second that I go to you and I come to you with this, what I believe to be is an incredible opportunity because the products are amazing too. And you look at it and you say, you know what, Zach, I've done network marketing before, or I don't have time to be in a business right now, or whatever it is. I say, great, no worries. I can default and say, Cindy, no worries whatsoever. Or do you have any health goals currently? And you're going to probably say yes. 95% of the time, people are going to say yes to health goals. So if I lead with the opportunity, I can default to the product. However, if I come to you and I say, hey, Cindy, we have this amazing nutritional cleanse. It's based on intermittent fasting. The shakes have grass-fed protein. There's ashwagandha in it, blah, 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 blah. And you go, you know what? I don't really believe in nutritional cleansing. I don't think the products are for me. I can't really then turn around and go, oh, okay, Cindy, no worries. There's this financial opportunity that I think you would kill it at. Why would you ever be interested in an opportunity where you don't believe in the product? So by leading with the opportunity, we don't back ourselves into a corner. And again, that's just our personal philosophy. The other reason we like to build that way, Cindy, is because I believe that to me, the formula to building a long-term sustainable network marketing business is to teach a lot of people how to do just a little bit and then find a couple of people that do a lot. So you can really embrace that 80-20 Pareto's principle. And if we go top down, then I'm constantly planting the seed of opportunity, and people are more likely to turn on and go, hey, about that opportunity, or about getting the company to cover the cost of my products. Or, you know, I saw a recognition post the other day. I saw you had a 22-year-old girl that's made $6,000 in the last couple of weeks. Well, how did that happen? Tell me more about that. And it's because I fostered their imagination early on in our conversation. So I know that's a slightly long-winded answer to your question, but that's our personal belief.
No, and that's great. And we definitely talk top-down approach with selling of the products and the kits and getting people started. We always go with the biggest packs first. So we totally get the top-down approach, and I absolutely love that. People are wondering, how do you build, because I know you have now started to build a big business for yourself in the UK. How do you build in other countries when you don't have personal connections? Did you already have personal connections, or how did you do that?
Kind of. It's a crazy story how we got into the UK. For me, it was just God at work in a lot of ways would be the best way to put it on this one. God, the universe, whatever it is for you. I had noticed a woman following me on social media, I don't know, almost 2 years ago now. And I went and clicked on her profile, and I saw that she was with another network marketing company in the UK. Now, at the time, I didn't even know that the prospect of opening the UK for Isogenics was even on the table. It was no one was discussing the UK 2 years ago. So we just connected, and I sent her a Facebook message like I do to so many people, where I literally just for you guys are wondering, what was the message? What'd you send her? Right? Here we go. Right? What'd you say? Right? I kept it really simple. Hey, Amy, I came across your profile. I noticed that you commented on a couple of my posts, or you liked one of my Facebook lives, whatever it was. I noticed that you're with another company. I'm always looking to connect with other successful networkers. How long have you been with your company? She responded, that was it. That was the last time I ever spoke with this woman on Facebook until we started to get a little closer to the UK being talked about, and someone at corporate called us and said, hey, just letting you know, like, the UK is on our radar. I don't know if you guys have people out there. And I just started saying to Eden, we're going to have a huge team in the UK. We're going to have a massive team in the UK. I just kept affirming it. And she was like, what are you basing that on? I was like, she's like, do you know anyone in the UK? And I said, no, I don't. Not that I can think of, but I said, Eden, I said, you used to work for a British-owned company, so I'm sure we could like connect through a connection of somebody that knows someone in the UK because you worked for a British company. And I just kept saying, we're going to have a huge team in the UK. Now, one morning, all of a sudden it hits me. I go, oh my God, Eden, there's this girl named Amy in the UK that I'm friends with on Facebook. I said, I'm going to reach out to her. She's in another company. I'm going to reach out to her, not with the idea to prospect her, not at all, but I'm just going to reach out to her and ask her if she'd be willing to share some best practices with us about the UK culture, because I'm pretty sure she's stuck in it at her company. And I'm not in the habit of recruiting other networkers if they're happy in their company. I just don't play that game. And because I don't think we should, but that's a whole nother conversation. But I said to her, I was like, I'm going to reach out to this woman and just see if she'll share some best practices with me. That day, an hour or two later, I get a message from my inbox and I go, Eden, you're not going to believe this. Sure enough, there's this Amy. Hey, Zach, congratulations on going millionaire with Isagenix. I heard that you guys are opening in the UK. I'd love to have a better idea about my competition. Would you guys be open to getting on a Zoom call so I can learn more about you and be able to answer any questions that my team has if they start to hear more and more about you guys? Does that work for you? And I said, sure, you got to be kidding me right now. And literally the next night we were on a Zoom call with her, and we all just kind of fell in love. And she said, I'm coming and I'm bringing 2 of my best friends with me. And it ended up being 4 of them that came over. And that's kind of how it happened. So, God, I know like, it's one of those things, you know what I mean? I wish I could tell you that there was some sort of remarkable amount of like skill built into it that I could teach you, but there wasn't. There was a lot of affirmation. There was a lot of belief. There was a lot of holding the space of possibility. But there was also this side of it, and I learned this from Jim Rohn, which is that if the why is strong enough, then the how doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I was just really committed to having a huge European team. Eden and I were just really committed to the idea of having a massive European group. Didn't know how it was going to happen. I just knew why it would. Yeah. And so I just believe that typically God or the universe or whatever it is for you just conspires in our favor to make the things that we consistently focus on and believe to be working their way towards us. Sometimes they don't take it. Sometimes they don't come as quickly as we might like. But I really do believe in that because I've just seen it manifest so many times in my lifetime.
Yeah, and I'm an absolute firm believer in train on mindset, and if we can't visualize it ever happening for us, it won't. So I love that, and that's exactly how I operate my business as well. But you did do something. You were intentional with watching your followers and then messaging them. And that's something that, you know, we really need to be aware of, that if we have people following us from any of the countries that we're in, following, liking, commenting, to send them a little message like that, one message could change your whole world.
You got to. And I'm constantly paying attention to that. We're getting on a call tomorrow. I'll just give you guys an example of another example of how this works. Eden posted something on Instagram. A guy commented. I'm in the habit of looking at the profiles of the people that comment on our pages because, like Cindy said, I'm always just open to the possibility that they're going to be who we're looking for. And remember, I'm very clear on the types of partners and the avatar that we have in mind that we're looking to attract. And so I look at this gentleman's profile, and it says mindset, fitness, lifestyle coach. So those are 3 hot buttons for us. Then it says location, Barcelona, Spain. Okay, we're opening in Spain in June. Then it says that he used to be a coach for Chelsea Football Club, which is one of the biggest soccer teams in all of the UK. So here is a British guy who's into mindset coaching, lifestyle, and fitness that's living in Spain. Of course, Eden's going to reach out to him. And I know you want to know what that message sounds like too. So it's a very simple, hey, Ben, noticed your babe, do you have your, can I read just, I'll just read it. Eden has a screenshot of it because we were just training on it last night with our team. And Eden's just kind of listening in on this. Say
hi.
Hi, Eden.
Cindy said she didn't want us on both together because she wanted to bring you on by yourself, but she might crash the party.
Hi. No, I'm going to leave. I'm doing some online shopping in the background.
Perfect.
Oh, that's great.
For those of you guys that are building as a couple,
here
it is.
Just scroll over.
So really quickly, Eden just wrote him, I saw your comment on my post. I'm glad you found me. From what I can see, it looks like you, me, and my husband have some serious synergy with how we think. How long have you been coaching? Look forward to learning more about you. That's it. Super simple, conversational. He wrote back, hey, Eden, it's so funny. I just clicked your message. Just clicked to message you and saw your message. Love your Instagram page. Looks great. I've been coaching for 17 years. What about you and your husband? Eden says, wow, that's really cool. Because now you guys are wondering, well, what do you say when people ask, what do you do? So there's just so much juice in this. If it's okay that I keep going.
Please.
Eden says, wow, that's really cool. I love when things like that happen. So you're moving straight from fitness to the mindset space. What sparked the transition? Now, what I want you guys to notice is that before answering his question right away and just verbal vomiting and diving right in, she kept the focus and attention on him, about him. Then she changes gears and says, we have a business that we run from home. We're partnered with a world-class nutrition company distributed through network marketing. We just expanded into Europe last year, and we lead one of the largest teams in the market currently. Funny enough, we open in Spain this June, so we'll be spending some time out that way. What brought you to Barcelona? That's a little formula that I can pay forward, you guys. Question, answer, question. She asks a question. She answers his question, asks another question, because the person who asks the most questions or the person who asks the questions controls the conversation. He told us a little bit more about him. She said, we'd love to hop on a call and learn more about you if you're open to it. We have a Zoom with him tomorrow. No idea where it's going to go. No attachment or agenda whatsoever. But again, this is what networking looks like, right? We're just networking.
Yeah. Oh, that is so exciting. So I hope this is getting all of your wheels spinning, guys, on, trying to find some connections in some of these countries, knowing that we're going to be opening in Spain and now we're brand new into Belgium today is super, super exciting. Well, good luck tomorrow. We'll be thinking about you guys. All right. So one of my top leaders asked this. She remembered you sharing from stage that at first, when you go back way at the beginning, you were not comfortable sharing in small groups or in public. And she wants you to share, how did you overcome this? Because we have a lot of people that are still uneasy, even to do sip and samples, to get up in front of that group and share. So how did you overcome that? Because it is important to be able to learn. You don't have to be a main stage trainer to be successful in this business, but it is important to learn how to overcome that fear. And asking questions is something else. I'm totally on the same page with you on so much of this. And I feel like for me, asking questions takes it all off of me. It's all about them. So I really want to hear your answer on that one.
On how I overcame kind of stage fright and that whole thing?
Yes.
Okay. So when I got into network marketing and when I saw the network marketing business model at 24 years old and I really fell in love with it, what I quickly understood was that the best copycat wins. I quickly recognized that if I dress like successful people dress, if I read what successful people read, if I eat what successful people eat, if I think like successful people think, then through the process of modeling, I have to become successful. If I model the behaviors and habits of successful people, then I must become successful. However, there was this one thing I noticed about these successful people that I did not like, and that was that they were really great at speaking with people, whether it be a small group, a semi-small group, a larger group, a hotel-sized room. Their confidence and their certainty in front of the room, I found to be completely overwhelming and terrifying. So my first 6 months to a year in network marketing, I hid behind the telephone. I had confidence being on the phone because I had a background in phone sales. That was easy for me, but I was never willing to get in front of a group. Well, it wasn't until my next company came into my life and my mentor pulled me aside and he said, listen to me. I love you. You have all the potential in the world to kill this thing. But Zach, he said, the person who holds the mic makes the money. He said, the person who holds the mic makes the money. And I just thought about it and I was like, okay, well, if the person who holds the mic makes the money, then I've got to learn how to hold the mic because I want to make the money. I wanted to make money. And I have no shame in saying that. I was motivated from a very young age to be a successful entrepreneur for a variety of reasons. And I'm happy to answer any of those questions too. But the very first night, I'll never forget, I was in Oakland, California. One of my mentors said, hey, Zach, I would love for you to give a testimonial tonight. And I, no joke, like Eminem in 8 Mile, if you've ever seen it, I ran straight to the bathroom, no exaggeration. I threw up, I was sick, I was pale in my face. And I sat in the back of the room going, maybe he'll forget to call me up. Maybe he'll forget to call me up. No, this is exactly how it happens. He goes, and I'd like to invite a couple of our friends up tonight to share their stories with you. And he introduced a couple of people and he says, Zach, if you could come up and join us as well. And guys, I kid you not, imagine that this is the microphone. This is not an exaggeration. This is what it looked like. Hi, my name is Zach Slobin, and I'm really and it was not an internal shaking. This was a physical shaking like this. And I finished. And afterwards, all these people came up to me and they said, oh my God, your story is so inspiring. And the big dog said to me, bro, you were great. Will you do it again next week? I said, what? I'm sorry. Did anybody even understand what I was saying as my teeth were chattering through my jaw? He said, you got to come back and do it next week. I said, okay. Come back the next week. Hi, my name is Zach Slobin, blah, 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 blah. Same thing. 2 weeks later, he goes, Zach, listen, he goes, you've been doing a great job with your testimonials. And I'm sitting there going like, maybe the guy's on drugs. I don't know what's going on. Like, this is crazy to me. He says, I would love it if you would MC tonight's event for me. I'd be honored if you would open the event for me. And now, I mean, this goes beyond like, this is like hyperventilating time. Like, get me a brown bag, call my mom who's a therapist. Like, mom, talk me through this thing. Like, how do I do this? And my mom said something to me that night, and I'll never forget it. And I still take it on stage with me today. She said, Zach, if you weren't meant to be in front of the room speaking with those people, then you probably wouldn't be. I said, oh, that makes a lot of sense. She said, just living in reality, Zach, if you weren't meant to be in front of the room, you wouldn't be in front of the room. I said, okay. And that helped me a lot. And my mom was just visiting. My mom's been a huge impact on my life. And my mom and I were saying the other day, and I said the other day to Eden, is that rationality is the kryptonite to anxiety. Rationality is the kryptonite to anxiety. It just is. Anxiety cannot survive when you put a rational lens on it. So anyway, I get in front of the room and hi everybody, welcome, blah, blah, blah. And for 3 weeks in a row, that's what it was like. I stood right in the middle of the room. I shook every single time. I had no idea what I said. I completely blacked out. And then the 4th time I was an MC, I'll never forget. And this is when you hear Tony Robbins talking about changing your state. I started to speak, and unconsciously, for whatever reason, I literally took one step to my left. One step to my left. That's all that happened. I took this little baby step to my left, and this calm just overcame me. And that was it. So I think it was a combination of repetition and then the willingness to literally just move my body in a different way, and always holding on to what my mentor said to me, which was, Zach, the person who holds the mic makes the money. So that's how I overcame it. And then really what happened even beyond that, which really fortified my belief, was I had an experience where I felt like I had a responsibility to grab the mic and be in front of the room. I felt like I had for me, it was divine. It was on stage when it happened. There was literally this experience of, this is where you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to be doing. Stop hiding from it. Stop running away. And I'm sitting here like giving a testimonial in Charlotte, North Carolina, of all places, in front of 250 people, going like, this is happening right now, like really, while I'm talking? And that was it for me. So I just surrendered to what I believe was calling on my life, and here we are.
Oh, and you've blessed so many people with all of your shares. And I'm getting private messages right now like crazy, that you're really, really hitting home with a lot of people. And I think, being vulnerable and transparent, every master was once a disaster, like David Woods always said.
He says including me, I say especially me.
Yeah, honestly, and me too. I mean, I remember singing in church with all 3 of my daughters, with my knees knocking, and I wasn't even by myself. And that just complete anxiety. And Ionic Supreme helps. So if you guys are wanting to start small and do a sip and sample, share a testimony at a sip and sample, start small. What we do locally is I may lead a sip and sample, but I'm always bringing people in, asking them to share their testimony, starting off small with people, getting them to be brave, sharing just their own personal story in front of the room. Then maybe they can get a little bit more of a responsibility, talk about a product, talk about a solution, and really try to help people, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you need someone to pour belief into you until you can do this for yourself. But you all can. What Zach just said is an absolute proof that anyone can do this, guys. If you practice and you're open and willing, you can do it. And you don't have to have that desire to be a main stage trainer. You just need to be able to communicate effectively, ask the right questions, be able to talk in front of a room full of people, be engaging, but most of all, listen and help them find the solution, find what they're looking for, and find the solution that will help them. So I absolutely love that. All right, how about, I know we're going to probably wrap it up here with one or two more questions. How about objections? Do you get them, and how do you overcome them? The two that we tend to hear over and over again when people ask me this question are money and time. Those are the two that seem to be the universal objections. So do you get them, and if so, how do you handle them?
Well, I want first things first, and this one always tends to be a little bit of a punch in the gut, but I love you all enough to be honest with you. But typically speaking, the objections you get are the objections you carry.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my favorite. People, yep, mm-hmm, yep. Yeah. So if you're getting the money objection, you got to get right about the value of our products and the value of this opportunity. And if you're getting the time objection, you got to get right with the reality of how much time you're willing to invest into building this and into doing this. That's just, there's an alignment thing. If there's an energy that goes with the objections that we get. Now, that being said, time and money are never the real actual objection. We know that. We know that rationally speaking, logically speaking, that if somebody had a gun to their head and their life was on the line, they could come up with $589 for something to save their kids' lives, or to take a plane to see a football game that they're dying to go to, or a concert that just came into their town. Like, price is absent in the presence of value. So make no mistake that if you're getting the money objection, then really what people are objecting to is they don't believe that if they part with the money that you're asking them for, that they'll get a return on their investment that is significant enough for them to let go of their money. That's the only reason you're ever going to get a money objection. It's never that they don't have the money. Or sometimes what will happen is people think in very limited terms. So when you say $589 for the value pack or whatever it may be, people immediately just think to themselves, I don't have $589 in my bank account. That's the first place they go. So what helps a lot is to get them creatively thinking about how valuable this is, because what will start to happen is they'll go, wait a minute, I have $589 on a credit card. Quite frankly, I have a refrigerator that's in the garage that I could easily sell that I never use. We had a woman on our team in Maui that had this like designer hat collection. She sold her hat collection to get started. We had a woman just recently who sold her car to get started. Now, that wasn't our recommendation. That was the belief that there was enough value for her to take that kind of action in her life so she could create a new result in her life. That's the first thing. So price is absent in the presence of value. That's really important to know. If you're getting the price objection, you're probably not creating enough value. And the reality is this isn't about creating the value of what the products actually do from a features perspective. This is about creating the value around what the products can do in relationship to someone's deep emotional driving reason as to why they want to get started. You've got to be able to link their deepest desires to the Isagenix systems, and then the outcome can only come through being a part of the Isagenix family. They've got to see that if I invest here, then I can end up over here. That's what they've got to be able to identify. So that's how you overcome the money objection. And then the time objection, there's a couple of different ways to do this. So I just love to ask questions. So somebody might say, God, I just don't think I have enough time to do this. Okay, curiously, how much additional income on a monthly basis would make this worth your time? How much additional income on a monthly basis would make this worth your time? And they go, $2,000 a month. Cool. Curiously, what would an additional $2,000 a month allow you to do that you can't do right now? Well, it would actually allow me to save up for a family vacation a lot faster, and it would actually allow us to take this winter vacation that I've really wanted to take for the last 3 years. But if I could make an extra $2,000 a month, and I could I could get ahead of my saving. We could do it this year instead of having to wait and put it off another year. What would that mean to you to be able to take that winter vacation finally? Well, I mean, it would just mean the world to me and my kids. Yeah, but what would it mean to you? It would really make me feel like, I was a good mom. Okay. So curiously, if I could show you how to earn an additional $2,000 a month so that you can take the winter vacation that you've been putting off the last couple of years so you can feel like a good mom, how many additional hours a week would that be worth you investing your time into?
Powerful.
10 hours a week. That's all we need.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can show you how to build this business in 10 hours a week, you're ready to join the family. We can welcome you to getting started. Yeah, great. Let's get to work.
Awesome.
So everyone has the same amount of time in the week, same amount of time in the day. It's are you willing, I'm not going to say we, I know I am. Are you willing to ask the kinds of questions that are going to disrupt the conscious thought patterns of people so we can get them to start looking beyond their unconscious limitations? Are you willing to ask the difficult questions? Are you willing to be a stand for people by asking challenging questions so they start to think in a different way? And that's how you overcome those two objections, or at least that's how we do.
Awesome. Awesome. Super powerful. Okay, last question I'm going to ask you is, with this rapid crystal reset, I'm sure your team's doing the same thing we are, trying to drive as many people to director this week as possible. Any tips that you and Eden are using to help develop consultants quickly, because we're down to the wire now? Any tips that you can leave everyone with?
I would invite all of you to do is go back and study Eden's training from NYKO that she did. We are consistent in teaching our team, ask the magic question. Curiously, people that you know would want to do this with you for sure. Curiously, who are two people that you know would want to do this with you for sure? Oh, well, my friend Cindy, my friend Beth. Great. Well, here's what's amazing. Because Isagenix doesn't spend any money on traditional advertising, we're instead able to reward our customers. They're instead able to reward us and their customers for their referrals. So just by helping Cindy and Beth get started, you back up to $500 right away. How amazing is that? They go, that's amazing. And then boom, great. Would you be open to me helping you get in contact with Cindy and get in contact with Beth so I can share the same information with them that I have with you today? How does that sound? And they go, great. And then we go right into it. So that's our formula. That's our magic. The language is very specific. It's not do you know, it's who do you know? That's the bread and butter. And here's the reality, guys. Anyone can do this. Anyone can take massive action and make a clear, committed decision. We have a young woman. She just left our house. She's local to our market here. She is 22 years young. And she is a massive enroller, huge enroller, but wasn't duplicating. And finally, she said, you know what? Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I am going Crystal Director this week. That was 2 weeks ago. Not only did she go Crystal Director, but in the course of 11 days, she went from one consultant to developing 9 more consultants, and she went executive.
Wow.
And we just had another couple yesterday who were stuck at 2.5 consultants, were unwilling to miss this director deadline, and they created 4 consultants between Saturday and Sunday to hit the director reset.
So it's possible.
Of course it's possible. It's really about making a decision. It's about being bold. Here's one thing I'll share with many of you, and I'd be willing to bet this. You're probably not following up as, I hate to use the term, but as aggressively as you need to be. I mean, 80% of all sales or all effective shares, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a sale, right? 80% of all sales come after the 5th phone call, the 5th one. But it's something like 85% of salespeople never make more than 2 calls. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's what I would say. I would say go back to people, follow up, go back to some of your customers. And here's a great thing to do here. And you can take our little script and tweak it. You can go back to your customers, and I can just see Tom Russell. I can see him on screen. Hi, Tom. And so I just, I might go back to Tom. And let's say Tom's been on the products for like 30 days. And I go, Tom, hey man, you've been on the products for 30 days, man. What are you noticing? He's like, dude, I feel amazing. I got more energy. I'm down like 10 pounds. I'm seeing some lines I've never seen before in my stomach, dude. I feel great. Tom, curiously, who do you know? Who do you know? Now, listen to my language. Who do you know, Tom, that would want to have more energy, be down 15 pounds, have some lines in their stomach they've never seen before after just 30 days? Who do you know that would want to feel like you feel after just 15 days, after just 5 days, after just 10 days? Because here's what we do. A lot of times when people look at the opportunity, they get stuck because they don't want to make money, quote unquote, off their friends. And that's totally fine. That's a whole nother conversation on how to retrain you out of that whole thing. However, when we start to use language like, who do you know that would want to experience what you're experiencing after just X amount of time, what we unlock is our innate desire to want to help people. And so immediately they go, oh my God, my mom and my coworker's been asking me about it. And all of a sudden you're gonna have someone that went from no, I want nothing to do with it, to telling you 15 names of people that they want to serve and help. And so it's literally just these little changes, these little nuances in your language that can make all the difference in the world for you.
That's why trainings like this are so important. And I am such a student forever, because you might have gotten one nugget tonight from Zach that you can shift in your mindset, shift in your verbiage, that could totally transform your whole entire business. And I cannot thank you enough. This call was just magical. You really are doing, I think, what you are called to be doing. You're masterful at it, and you really, really touch a lot of people's lives, including mine. So thank you so much by blessing us tonight and being part of our team tonight.
No, I just feel so honored to be a part of this community. It's obviously done so many amazing things for Eden and me. And so whatever we can do to pour back in and to serve you guys, please don't hesitate to ask. Cindy, watching your growth has been phenomenal. I love you to death. Congratulations on the championship cruise. Guys, you don't need any outside trainer from any other team coming on these calls. It's just a little extra bell and whistle because she loves you. You've got enough with Cindy. I assure you, she's an amazing GPS. She's like the highest quality possible GPS you can have. You're the driver. It's up to you to follow the directions that she's lovingly paying forward to you from what she's learned along the way. So thank you all for investing your time with me tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And give me your PayPal account, and I'll shoot the money back at you. Love you guys. Thanks so much, Zach. Have a great night, everybody.